Hey there, you're tuned in to MEA Worldwide. I'm your host, Elena Jordan, and today I am so excited to be sitting down with one of my favorite actresses, Jade Tailor, plays Kady on one of the best shows on television, The Magicians.
Thank you so much. Hi.
Now,
Yeah.
yesterday
Was one of the best shows on television.
yeah, the is changed to was.
Yeah.
When did you find out about this? Because I imagine you knew before we knew.
You know, I didn't.
Really?
Actually, yeah. I technically our execs called me the day before, but I missed the call somehow. And so I would have known. And so I knew when the fans knew. And I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but it's been just as emotional, I think, for me as it has for everyone else. But yeah, I found out yesterday morning, first thing.
That is insane. I think we're all kind of reeling from this news because I think to a lot of fans it just doesn't quite make sense because it's such a beloved show to the point that within less than 24 hours it has already garnered a huge following, tons of retweets on Twitter with hashtag Save the Magicians. I don't think anybody was surprised that that immediately started. But what really has blown me away is the hashtag that's gone with it, which is hashtag The Magician Saved Me.
Like every time you say that, I get chills.
It's insane reading some of these. I mean, it is one of the most emotional experiences. You particularly
really
have played.
Thinking about it.
I'm already tearing up
Like,
just
we're just
thinking
gonna cry
about
this
it. We're like, we're just gonna cry the whole time. But reading something, especially because Kady has dealt with, severe loss with Penny, the addiction, all of this. You have become kind of a figurehead for a lot of women in particular who have felt very isolated and have felt like this is, an experience that other people don't share. And because your character has been so strong through all of this, it's reflected so widely. What do you feel that you hope that fans take from Kady and from this experience?
Yeah, gosh, that makes me really emotional even thinking about. It's what I think the most beautiful thing. I think I'm realizing more and more as the days go on, as I'm reflecting over these 5, almost 6 years, because we shot the pilot 6 years ago, is that how much I relate to Kady. In the sense that I went through a lot in my life and a lot of trauma and a lot of turmoil, and to be able to overcome that and learn to find my inner strength as Kady has, I'm hoping that the fans take the same thing away from that, is that no matter what you go through, you can learn from it and you can become stronger because of it. They say that a broken bone always grows back stronger. And so for me, that's really what I'm hoping, is that people walk away feeling really inspired, empowered, finding their own inner strength because they see that it's possible and it's not just this fantasy character, but I went through it too and came out on the other side, and I'm really hoping that they feel and find that inner strength within themselves.
From what I've been reading, it seems like that is definitely the case, and I just cannot thank you enough for your amazing work on the show, because I think that's part of what makes this show so impactful for people, especially of our age, because it's people who are experiencing things that are abstract but in a tangible form.
Totally.
It's creating these monsters, these tangible monsters, while you're also getting the parallels of these deep levels. What were some of the most challenging aspects for you with Kady and with her whole storyline, because she has been through...
She has been through the ringer. Yeah, I think the hard parts or hard things that she went through weren't actually challenging for me, which is really interesting. Like, I understood the depths of pain that she was going through. I think the harder part for me was actually really wanting to honor those specific experiences for her, like honoring the addiction and what that means, because I know that there's so many people out there struggling with addiction, and I really wanted to do that justice, and so I'm hoping I did, for anybody struggling with it, and so that was a challenge that I really wanted to face head on and honor for everybody out there.
What were some of the moments on set too that where I'm like to lighten it up a little bit while we're all like
crying and emotional?
I don't want to do it. Because this has become such a family, and you see this reflected. And I mean, you guys, you have been kind of best friends for the past like 6 years.
Yeah.
So what are some of the moments that have stood out to you, looking back and reflecting on your time? Not necessarily even on camera, but behind the scenes as well.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I think that, like you said it perfectly. It's become a family, and we've become the best of friends. And I think the in-between moments, like anytime like cut was called, like being able to joke and play and also be on this journey together of like being able to impact people in ways that we never thought possible. I think I can't think of like one in particular, but I know like for me and Brittany, for example, we didn't get to work together often. We did in the last season a little bit, which is really fun, but she and I are the best of friends, and just getting to support one another and show up on set on days that we weren't working to like root each other on. Like there's just such a familial environment that we created and cultivated, and that's thanks to our creators and our writers and the whole crew. And also, well, I will say this, outside of the cast, I actually really bonded with our crew. And there's one man in particular, Gary Brooks, who was our key grip. And he and I may have had a prank war going on for 5 years. So I'll tell you this was really fun. So first day of season 5, I will say, like, the prank war was going on to the point where Gary had put my cast chair on ceilings. There was a lot of taping my water bottle or tying it to a ceiling or a wall. It went on for a long time. So I decided on day 1 to coerce one of our PAs into getting his car keys, because I know his car. He has a truck. He's very proud of his truck. So I decided to fill it with packing peanuts. Oh! It was so good. So that was day 1 of season 5. So the prank war just kept going. But so there were like so many fun moments like that where I think I was the prankster on set.
So do you think that you won the prank? I mean, that's a pretty iconic prank.
I mean, he continued, like, at one point he literally put my chair, because you see this ceiling, I mean, you can't see it, but there's a ceiling here where, like, you can sort of move the boards. And so he put my chair through a ceiling. That was the last thing he did. He didn't know Brittany's purse was also attached to it, so Britt's purse was in the ceiling as well. There's a lot of fun things that happened behind the scenes, but I think I instigated a lot of it.
I love too that you said that you guys actually go and visit the set even when you're not working.
Yeah, all the time.
I've never even heard of a cast really doing that. Like that's kind of remarkable. Like these are like your tried and true friends. It's incredible.
Totally, we love each other. We support each other through and through, and I think we're all very, of course, like any family, there's moments where we're like annoyed with each other, but in like the most like loving, like sibling-like way. And then but we, at the end of the day, we support and love each other so dearly, and are really proud of one another and the work that we've done over these 5 years.
I feel like that's kind of the big message of this season as well, is that this group of people, no matter what, will do anything for each other. So without spoiling anything, are you satisfied with the finale? Do you feel like it wraps up in a way that you feel good about?
The very last moment, I think, really speaks to what the 5 years have been, and I'm excited to see like where like Kady ends up, and there's who knows what's to come, but I think I do think they honored it in a beautiful way that also, I don't know, it's a very strange thing. The way that they did it, without spoiling, I hope, basically allows the audience to feel whatever they're going to feel. I'll say that. I know. It's a lot. It's emotional.
And we've had some real emotional moments on this show, too. Even the end of last season, saying goodbye to Quentin.
Yeah.
This is why I wanted the show to continue, though, because having this time to really process this grief, and it's something we haven't really experienced as an audience before.
Totally, and we as humans go through grief all the time, and I think the way that we approached it at the beginning of the season is, how do people deal with grief? Like, for example, Kady doesn't necessarily verbalize it, but she's definitely internalizing it, and she's still dealing with her addiction, and partly like feeling the need to do it because of the inner turmoil of losing someone, but isn't going to communicate that, and also really wants to step up and step into her power and help people because of losing Quentin. And so it's like, how do people deal with grief? And I think we see that back right there. We see a plethora of ways in which people deal with it, and I think that like our writers and creators, they do such a beautiful job with honoring true human experience and emotion.
Now, your showrunners and creators have also said too that they left the finale open to the possibility of the show continuing. They intentionally didn't wrap up all plot points.
Yes.
In case there was a possibility for it to continue.
Yeah.
And with the fans really, really, really pushing, wanting it to continue.
Yeah.
If they felt that there was an appropriate platform, because that's been the big thing, is they're like, want to make sure it's on the right platform.
Totally.
But if maybe a streaming service or something were to want to continue
or if Netflix
it.
wants to pick up a 2-hour, conclusion, happy about it.
Would you be on board? Would you prefer?
1,000%. I would do anything that has to do with the Magicians and anything that John, Sarah, Henry, like our execs, showrunners want to do. I love them, and I'm so grateful, so beyond grateful for the journey and the continued journey.
And we are so incredibly grateful to you for coming and speaking with us too. So where can everyone keep up with you, and also keep up with your music too, because that's something we didn't even touch on, but if you watch the show, 4-octave range, bitch.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Well, I'm actually working on an album right now, which is really fun, and I have some stuff on YouTube, but also mostly Instagram, because I always post on there, and it'll take you to all of the other platforms as well for me. Yeah.
And you guys can check out all of our celebrity interviews at MEA Worldwide. That's MEAWW.com. Until next time, have a magical day.
Yes. Thanks.